A very good o'clock, dear students. Here I am Nikita, I'm your geography teacher. Students, in yesterday's video, we started our next chapter, that is relief. So, what is relief, students? You must have understood till now that relief are those features of uh, area which have an height or elevation over the ground. Okay, basically relief means an elevation over the ground or the height over the ground. Okay, so all the landforms which have an elevation over the ground are known as the relief features. So Himalaya comprise the most dominating geographical feature of India. In yesterday's video which I sent to you, the Himalayas were briefly discussed. Okay, and that discussion about the division of the Himalayas in different ranges is enough. Okay, so Himalayas have been divided into three major ranges. The Himadri, that is the most upper range or the highest range, then Himachal, that is the middle range, and Shivaliks, that is the foothills of Himalayas. Okay, so that have been enough discussed in that video. You must know that Himadri has an average height of 6,000 meters. All the important mountain peaks are located. No need for repetition. Okay, that was enough information. Now let us talk about the significance of Himalayas. Okay, so we'll discuss them one by one. The major thing is that the Himalayas are the body and soul of India. Okay, these are known as the body and soul of India. Why is it called body? Because it kind of comprises the head of the India. We called it the head of the India in an symbolic manner. Okay, and it's the soul of India. Why? Because Himalayas have a very great significance in terms of many things, whether it be defense, whether it be climate, whether it be tourism, whether it be the Himalayan rivers. Okay, so it has a great significance for the country. That is why it's known as the body and soul of, it's kind of a pride of Indian nation. Okay, because it's one of the highest peaks, highest mountain ranges of the world. Okay, now let us discuss the significance points one by one. The climatic influence, it plays a significant role in influencing the climate of India. How? Because of its high altitude and length and direction, they effectively intercept the summer monsoon coming from the Bay of Bengal. Means uh, it prevents the loss of precipitation, or it prevents the monsoon winds from going out of the country. Okay, and helps in causing the precipitation in the form of rain or snow. Okay, besides they prevent the cold continental air masses of Central Asia from entering into the India. The cold winds which blow from China towards the Middle Asia, South Asia, it also controls them. Okay, or it prevents them from entering the India. So had there been no Himalayas, अगर Himalayas नहीं होते, तो in absence of precipitation in the winters, there would be severe winter, बहुत ज़्यादा cold होता, or it would be a desert. Okay, now second is defense point of view. Say it act as a natural barrier for the invaders since the early times, and Chinese aggression in India in October 1962 had reduced the significance of the Himalayas to a considerable extent, although but the importance of Himalayas till now and acting as a natural barrier cannot be ignored. Okay, third is the source of rivers. We all already know that Himalayas, the upper Himalayas, are always covered with the snow throughout the year. Okay, and these consist of many important glaciers which are source of the most important river system of India, that is the Ganga, Brahmaputra, Yamuna. Okay, which form the fertile plains of North India. All these have a source in the glaciers lying in the Himalayas. Fourth is the fertile soil. Why fertile soil is related with the Himalayas, although not much fertile soil is found over the Himalayas themselves, but the rivers which carry the silt, and when they deposit it into the plains of northern India, it makes or it produces the depositional plains which are very fertile land, or the most fertile land for agriculture in the India. Fifth is hydroelectricity. The rivers, yes, it's often said that the Great Plains of North India is a gift of Himalayas. Okay, because of the rivers flowing from the Himalayas. Fifth is hydroelectricity. Because fast flowing rivers make many natural waterfalls which have a high pace of water falling down, which helps in producing the hydroelectricity easily. Okay. Forest wealth. The Himalayan ranges are very rich in forest resources. Important ranges show a succession of vegetable cover from the tropical to the alpine system. Okay, the Himalayas forests provide fuel wood and many kinds of important trees which were mentioned in yesterday's videos also, like kedar, fir, spruce, pine. These important trees are found in the vegetation of Himalayas. Many medicinal plants which are very rare to be found can also be found in the Himalayan ranges. Okay. Next, coming up to agriculture. Although Himalayas do not offer extensive flatlands for agriculture, but when the slopes of Himalayas are terraced, means terrace farming is practiced there. Rice is the main crop on terrace slopes. Other than this, crops are wheat, maize, potato, tobacco, and ginger. And tea is a unique crop which can be grown on the hill slopes only, the Naga range. Okay, and a wide variety of fruits. All of you must be aware about that fruit orchards are very famous in the Kashmir valleys, okay, which lie in the middle Himalayas, that is the Himachal. So many orchards of apples, pears, grapes, mulberry, and an extensive range of fruits are grown in the Himalayan region. Tourism, from the point of view of tourism, there is no doubt that Himalayas are the most important tourist spot in India, because most of the foreign tourists come to India to visit those cold places and to have a look of the high mountain peaks like Mount Everest, Kanchenjunga and all. Okay, and as we discussed in yesterday's video that the Himachal ranges have a number of hill stations lying in that, like Dalhousie, Dharamshala, Srinagar, Ranikhet, Nainital, Mussoorie, which are a point of attraction for the inside as well as outside touristers. Okay, pilgrimage. There are many spots, many sanctified shrines which are considered to be the abode of God that lie in the treks. People do trekking with along the difficult paths to reach those pilgrimage centers like Kailash, Amarnath, Badrinath, Kedarnath, Vaishno Devi, Jwalaji. Many important of these pilgrimage centers are located in the Himalayas. Okay, every year you see a large number of people go for the pilgrimage. Minerals. From the mineral point of view, coal is found in Kashmir: copper, lead, zinc, nickel, cobalt, antimony, tungsten, gold, and silver. These things are semi precious, and precious stones like gypsum, magnetite are known to occur at more than 100 localities to the Himalayas. Okay, the Indus Ganga Brahmaputra plain. Now coming to the second most important division of the relief feature in India, that is the Indus Ganga Brahmaputra plain. So these are three most important river systems that make the fertile plains of North India, which are known as the Great North Indian Plains or the Indus Ganga Brahmaputra plain. Okay, Great Plains of North India has been formed by depositional work of, okay, these have been formed by the depositional works of mainly these rivers, the Indus, the Ganga, and the Brahmaputra. So this is often known as the Indus Ganga Brahmaputra plain. It extends about 2400 kilometers in east-west direction from Satluj to Ganga Delta, all along the foot of the mountains. These lie at the foot of Shivaliks. Okay, with a width varying from 150 to 300 kilometers. The plain is the narrowest in Assam. It extends up to Assam, but it's narrowest in Assam, varying between 90 and 100 kilometers, and it's wider over Rajmahal Hills, 280 kilometers near Allahabad. Okay, most in central India, it is the most widest. Okay, so as mentioned earlier, this Great Plain is a result of infilling of the initial depressions by continuous depositional work done by Himalayan rivers. The maximum depth sounded so far is nearly 2000 meter, means the depth of the plains is 2000 meter. In the last chapter we studied about the geological formation of the Great Plains. Okay, so relief features of the plain. What are the features of the plain? Although there are no that type of mountainous or geological relief features, but it has been divided into several parts. Okay, 4 divisions: the Bhabar, the Tarai, the Bhangar, the Khadar. Okay, and 2 more further divisions are there: Bhur and Barind. Okay, and Barkhan. These are the extensions basically. Okay, so Bhabar, it is along the foot of Shivaliks from Indus to Tista. Okay, Tista is Brahmaputra is known as Tista. Okay, it is a narrow belt of 8 to 16 kilometer. It's a narrow belt, and it is basically composed of the pebble studded rocks in the shape of porous beds. Okay, this is not a plain, means this is not originally a plain or totally is featured like a plain. It's more like a जो पत्थर वाला एरिया होता है, पेबल काइंड ऑफ एरिया, एंड इट इज़ वेरी पोरस. पोरस का मतलब होता है हैव अ लॉट ऑफ, जिसमें होल्स हों. ओके, दैट एरिया इज नोन टू बी द पोरस एरिया. ओके, सॉफ्ट पोरस एरिया, एंड the porosity of this area zone is so high that all the streams disappear here. Okay, इससे क्या मतलब है कि इतना ज़्यादा porous area है कि जो water streams होती हैं वो totally underground हो जाती हैं. Okay, totally उसमें absorb हो जाती हैं. Okay, so this is the high porosity of this area. और pebbled beds होते हैं. Pebbled means studded with the pebbles, यानी कि पत्थर, and usually parallel to the slope of river beds. Okay, these pebbled areas are parallel to the slope of the river beds. Okay, means making a boundary. This is not much suited for agriculture. Obviously this area will not be much suitable for agriculture क्योंकि यहाँ flat land available नहीं है. Coming to the Tarai, the Tarai situated to the south of Bhabar. Bhabar के नीचे आते हैं तो Tarai region आता है. This is the most fertile region and is run parallel to it. It is marked by the re-emergence of the underground streams of the भाबर बेल्ट. भाबर बेल्ट में जो स्ट्रीम्स अंडरग्राउंड हो जाती है वो तराई रीजन में री एमर्ज होती हैं, दोबारा हमें सरफेस पर दिखाई देती हैं. एंड द एलुवियम डिपॉजिट हियर इज़ फाइनर देन द डिपॉजिट इन दी भाबर. जो यहाँ पे डिपॉजिट होती है एलुवियम, यानी कि जो सॉइल, वो जो भी डिपोजिशन सेडिमेंट्स जो रिवर अपने साथ लेकर आती है वो यहाँ पे फाइनर डिपॉजिट्स होते हैं. ओके, मींस मोर नॉट लाइक उसमें ज़्यादा पत्थर वगैरह नहीं होते, फाइनर डिपॉजिट्स होते हैं विच लीड्स टू फॉर्मेशन ऑफ फर्टाइल प्लेन्स. ओके, एंड इट्स एन एरिया ऑफ एक्सेसिव डैम्पनेस. बहुत ज़्यादा डैम्पनेस है. डैम्पनेस रेफर्स टू से कीचड़ इन हिंदी. ओके, इट्स अ वेरी डैम्प एरिया, मतलब वेट लैंड है इसको बोल सकते हैं. लार्ज स्ट्रेचेज आर मार्शी एरियाज ड्यू टू री एमर्जेंस. मार्शी दैट वही दलदल टाइप के. ओके, एंड थिक फॉरेस्ट विद वेराइटी ऑफ वाइल्ड लाइफ आर फाउंड हियर. बहुत थिक फॉरेस्ट यहाँ पे है. मोस्ट ऑफ द तराई लैंड हैज़ बीन रिक्लेम्ड एंड टर्न इनटू एन एग्रीकल्चरल लैंड. तराई लैंड को जो है एग्रीकल्चरल लैंड में टर्न कर दिया गया है. नेक्स्ट इज दी भांगर. इट्स कंपोज्ड ऑफ ओल्ड एलुवियम. ये जो है ओल्ड एलुवियम से बनी हुई है. ठीक है, मतलब यहाँ पे नई लेयर्स डिपॉजिट नहीं होती हैं. एंड दिस इज़ कॉल्ड खादर. इसको खादर का भांगर कहा जाता है. एंड फॉर्म्स द एलुवियल टेरेस अबव द लेवल ऑफ फ्लड प्लेन्स. ये जो है फ्लड प्लेन्स से थोड़ा ऊपर का एरिया होता है. इट्स ऑफन यहाँ पे मतलब फ्लड्स नहीं कॉज हो सकती हैं. इम्प्रेग्नेटेड विद दी कैल्सेरियस कंक्रीशंस नोन एज कंकड़. ओके, मीन्स कैल्शियम से कंपोज्ड जो कंक्रीट पार्टिकल्स हैं जिनको हम कंकड़ कहते हैं हिंदी में. ओके, कंकर, उससे इनका फॉर्मेशन होता है. मीन्स दोज आर फाउंड हियर. खादर, इट इज़ दी फ्लड प्लेन विच इज़ न्यूअर एलुवियम. ओके, ऑब्वियसली फ्लड प्लेन है तो हर साल जो फ्लड्स आती हैं वो उस पर एक न्यू लेयर ऑफ एलुवियम को डिपॉजिट करती हैं, जिसकी वजह से ये नया बना रहता है. ओके, सो दिस इज़ द न्यूअर एलुवियम. सो अ न्यूअर एलुवियम इज डिपॉजिटेड बाय फ्लड ऑलमोस्ट एवरी ईयर. खादर इज़ ऑफन कैरेक्टराइज विद फर्टाइल सॉइल और इंटेंसिव एग्रीकल्चर. पूरा फर्टाइल सॉइल होती है और बहुत ज़्यादा एग्रीकल्चर भी यहाँ पे है. Next is Bhor. It denotes an elevated piece of land situated along the banks of the गंगा रिवर। ओके, इट्स एन एलिवेटेड, मतलब गंगा रिवर के बैंक्स पर ही, उसके किनारे पर ही थोड़ा सा ऊपर एलिवेटेड जो एरिया है, दैट इज़ द अपर गंगा यमुना दोआब, जिसको हम कहते हैं गंगा यमुना दोआब। व्हाट इज़ दोआब? दोआब इज़ अ एरिया विच इज़ irrigated by two rivers. Okay, that is why it is known as doab. Okay, two rivers irrigate this area. This has been formed due to the accumulation of wind blown sands during the hot dry months of the year. और इसका एलिवेशन क्यों होता है? क्योंकि ये जो एरिया होता है वो हॉट और ड्राई विंड जब सैंड लेकर आती है उड़ाकर, ओके, ड्यूरिंग द प्रोसेस ऑफ इरोजन, और उसको डिपॉजिट कर देती है, तो दैट फॉर्म्स एन एलिवेटेड ग्राउंड विच इज़ नोन एज द भोर। ओके, देन बरिंद, द एरिया बिटवीन द गंगा एंड ब्रह्मपुत्र जमुना इज़ अ वास्ट प्लेन फॉलिंग फ्रॉम 100 मीटर्स टू अबाउट 30 मीटर्स। 100 मीटर्स से लेके 30 मीटर्स तक का ये वास्ट प्लेन है, and it is skirted by the innumerable old river courses and liable to disastrous flood, especially along the Tista river. ब्रह्मपुत्र की साइड में इसमें काफ़ी सारे फ्लड्स देखे जाते हैं, ओके, एवरी ईयर। सो इन द हार्ट ऑफ दिस एरिया लाइज द बरिंद विच इज़ द लार्ज आइलैंड और टेरेस ऑफ ओल्डर क्वासीलिटरल एलुवियम। बरिंद इज़ मोर लाइक एन आइलैंड, जो इसके बीच में है, इस एरिया के बीच में है, गंगा ब्रह्मपुत्र डेल्टा के बीच में है। ओके, and it's a terrace of quasi-lateral alluvium. Okay, means half of the alluvium कह सकते हैं। The Barind still carries much scrub and degraded remnant forest. इसमें काफ़ी सारे scrubs यानी छोटे पौधे और degraded remnant forest, मतलब अच्छे फॉरेस्ट नहीं है। इट्स वेरी स्पार्सली पॉपुलेटेड एरिया, और ये एरिया बहुत ही कम पॉपुलेटेड है। नाउ इज़ दी बरखन, बरचन, बरखन या बरचन जिसको हम कहते हैं। बरखन इज़ अ क्रीसेंट शेप्ड एंड ड्यून फाउंड, सैंड ड्यून फाउंड इन द राजस्थान डेजर्ट। राजस्थान डेजर्ट में सैंड ड्यून्स बहुत कॉमन होते हैं। सैंड ड्यून्स क्या होते हैं? इज आर द माउंटेन्स ऑफ सैंड या हिल्स ऑफ सैंड कह सकते हैं, जो कि विंड के एक्शन से फॉर्म होते हैं। ओके, सो दिस इज़ अ क्रीसेंट यानी हॉर्न शेप्ड का एक लैंड फॉर्म है। इट लाइज ट्रांसवर्सली टू द विंड डायरेक्शन, विंड के डायरेक्शन के ट्रांसवर्सली होता है। ओके, with horns trailed out downwind and is formed when the wind direction remains constant. ये तब बनते हैं जब विंड डायरेक्शन कांस्टेंट रहता है, मतलब एक ही डायरेक्शन में विंड जो है सैंड को डिपॉजिट करती रहती है। एंड दे आर टिपिकली फाउंड इन बाड़मेर, जैसलमेर और गंगानगर रीजन में ये पाए जाते हैं। एंड इन दी सूरजगढ़, रतनगढ़ एंड दुर्गागढ़ ट्रैक्ट पर। ओके, बरचन नॉर्मली अटेन्स अ हाइट ऑफ 30 to 35 मीटर की हाइट इसकी हो जाती है। ओके, एंड इट्स विड्थ इज़ यूजुअली 10 to 20 टाइम्स इट्स हाइट, और जो विड्थ होती है वो ज़्यादा होती है। द लेंथ रेंजेस फ्रॉम अ फ्यू मीटर्स टू मोर देन 400 meters. It's necessary to understand the difference between some of the above mentioned important relief features. तो कुछ के बीच में इसमें डिफरेंस दिया है, वो हम देख लेते हैं। जैसे कि भांगर इज़ अ डेल्टिक रीजन ऑफ बंगाल एंड एक्सटेंसिव लेटराइट फॉर्मेशन नोन एज बरिंद। भांगर जो है वो एक डेल्टा रीजन है बंगाल का, एक्सटेंसिव लेटराइट फॉर्मेशन है जिनको बरिंद कहते हैं। ओके, अनदर फॉर्मेशन इज़ दी भर ऑफ अपर गंगा यमुना दोआब। ओके, इनके बीच का डिफरेंस पढ़ लेते हैं। द भाबर एंड तराई। भाबर इट लाइज अलोंग द फुट ऑफ द शिवालिक्स, वेयर एज तराई लाइज टू द साउथ ऑफ भाबर। पहले भाबर आता है फिर तराई आता है। ओके, इट्स 8 to 16 किलोमीटर इसकी विड्थ है और इसकी विड्थ 20 to 30 किलोमीटर है। भाबर comprised of pebble studded rocks, whereas the tarai composed of comparatively finer alluvium. Okay, भाबर due to its porosity of rocks the stream disappear and flow underground. इसमें जो streams है underground flow करती हैं, whereas तराई में ये stream जो है re-emerge होके surface पर flow करती हैं। Okay, this region is not suitable for agriculture. भाबर region whereas तराई region is reclaimed for agriculture. Now coming to difference between Bhangar and Khadar, which is the most important difference ever asked. This is the highland composed of old alluvium. Bhangar is old alluvium and Khadar is new alluvium. It is always above the level of floodplains. Bhangar is above the floodplains, whereas Khadar is itself a floodplain. Okay, alluvium is deposited here every year by the floods. So it is often impregnated with the कैल्शियस कंक्रीशंस नोन एज कंकड़, इसमें कंकर्स डिपॉजिट होते हैं, इज ऑफन कैरेक्टराइज बाई क्लेई सॉइल, इज वेरी फर्टाइल. ओके. फोर्थ, इट इज़ नॉट मच सूटेड फॉर एग्रीकल्चर, भांगर और ज़्यादा एग्रीकल्चर के लिए सूटेबल नहीं है. वेयर इज खादर इज इंटेंसिवली suited for agriculture. Okay, it is known as the धैया in पंजाब, इसको धैया कहते हैं पंजाब में, और इसको कहते हैं बेत. Okay, so these were the important features of the plains of Ganga Yamuna. Okay, or sorry, the extensive plains of North India formed by the Indus, Ganga and Brahmaputra river systems. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you.